How's it going, Rasmanites? WrestleMania 29 pay-per-view review today on the Razman's Reality. Pre-show, The Miz versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship, and to the surprise of almost no one, I think, we have a new Intercontinental Champion in The Miz. The Miz undefeated at WrestleMania. I don't think he's ever going to approach Undertaker's streak, but it is interesting that they counted the pre-show as part of WrestleMania, and they touted the fact that The Miz remains unbeaten at the big event. And I was upset, and I still am upset, kind of, that the IC title got relegated to the pre-show. But I think it was just a matter of they really put a lot into this pre-show. It was an hour-long pre-show, and they wanted to make the pre-show mean something. So that's why the IC title was there. The Bella Twins and Team Rhodes Scholars versus Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls got pulled from the pay-per-view. So, first match of the night, it was The Shield versus Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus. In this one, it was your typical six-man tag. It was a good match. Shield looked the strongest, which they should have. They go over after, during the course of the match, the Big Show only really gets into the match once, maybe twice. I don't remember, but Randy Orton and Sheamus just focus on each other, working with each other. And then at the very end, Sheamus is down. He's desperately reaching for that tag, reaching for the Big Show, and Randy Orton slaps Sheamus on the back, interjects, and gets the final tag. This sets up frustration on the part of the Big Show. Randy Orton goes nuts for a minute, RKO's Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. But when Dean Ambrose comes in and gets the upper hand, Big Show does not stop the pin. So the Shield is victorious. Big Show then reverts back to his heel state, knocking out both Sheamus and Randy Orton. So, good match, not a great match, but it's a six-man tag. Next up, it was Ryback versus Mark Henry, and for a match that was two big guys, I was kind of in a bit of a way impressed in this match. I think that both guys really put on a good show. They really raised their game. They knew it was WrestleMania, and in the surprise of the night, one of them, the other I'll get into shortly, it was Mark Henry with the victory here. So I was really, really surprised at that. Mark Henry goes over the Golden Boy, Ryberg. But in the end, Ryberg still gets his moment in the sun. The Goldberg clone still shines as he picks up Mark Henry for the shell shock after the match. So it was still the moment that everybody was expecting. It just didn't happen during the match. And I'm actually really glad to see it, because I don't know how much longer Mark Henry is going to be around for us to enjoy his work. Next up, WWE Tag Team Championship on the line. And the other surprise of the night, it was Team Hell No retaining over Biggie Langston and Dolph Ziggler. Biggie and Dolph look really strong, but Team Hell No gets the victory here with no complications, no signs of breaking up. So maybe the tag team's not done, or maybe this was just a case of Daniel Bryan had that loss last year because they were trying to break a record. This is payback for Daniel Bryan for him to walk out with the championship this year. Or maybe it was a case of they know that Kane is close to retirement and Paul Bearer's death, and how closely Kane feels about Wayne Moody and him being the storyline son of Paul Bearer. Maybe they didn't want him to lose on the pay-per-view. I'm not entirely sure what the reasons were for that, but Team Hondo retains the tag team titles. Great match though for a tag team match, way better than I expected it to be. And since I'm doing this from memory, I think I might have gotten these two out of order. If I did, I apologize, but we're now going to talk about Y2J Chris Jericho versus Fandango. And this was a far better match than I expected it to be for Fandango's first main match since Johnny Curtis took on that character, being at the biggest stage of all in WrestleMania. I give it a 6 out of 10. It was a very, very good match, and Jericho really coached Johnny Curtis through the spots that he needed to be coached through, and he looked really good, except for what I believe was supposed to be the end of the match, because Chris Jericho goes for a lion salt and Johnny Curtis is out of position. I believe Johnny Curtis was supposed to put up his knees and block that lion salt and then roll Jericho up for the 1, 2, 3. So Jericho changed it up to where he's going for the walls, and Johnny Curtis fights that off into a schoolboy roll up for the 1, 2, 3. So same ending that I believe was planned, but I think that it was supposed to be with the lion salt and not the walls of Jericho, because you could clearly see that Fandango was out of position, as I said. Next up, it was the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm so glad that the World Heavyweight Championship didn't curtain jerk again, and they actually gave the match some prestige, because it was one of the big four, and a lot of people's opinion of the layout of WrestleMania. So it was Alberto Del Rio retaining the World Championship over Jack Swagger in a clean victory, no cash in by Dolph Ziggler. I personally am not surprised by this at all. I said all along I thought WrestleMania was too crowded, and I think that it was a situation where they knew that if they had Ziggler cash in, that it wouldn't be a moment that was remembered. And this is WrestleMania, and it needed to be a moment that was remembered. So Alberto Del Rio goes over in a clean victory, and it was a good match. I give it a 7 out of 10. I want to say there was something in between here that I'm forgetting, and I honestly have no idea what it would be. Maybe I got out of order, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think I got out of order because I think they had the Sean P. Diddy Combs or P. Diddy Money or whatever the heck his name is now. I think they had that performance after the World Tag Team Championship, and I think Jericho Fandango was in between the world title match and this match. I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. So next up, that I haven't talked about, it was Undertaker versus CM Punk, and this was a very, very, very good match. Wasn't better than last year's. I don't think Undertaker will ever be able to do anything to top last year's match, but so many near falls and near finishes. Taker showing a lot of counter skills, which is something he hasn't done in a long time. There was a spot in the match when Punk is going for the elbow off the top rope onto a table, and the table doesn't break, and you could hear as clear as a bell. If you're watching on the HD feed like me, you could hear as clear as a bell CM Punk's shoulder hitting hard on that table when that, or excuse me, not his shoulder, but his knee. His knee hitting very, very hard on that table when that table didn't break. I thought for sure Punk was really seriously injured at that point, and he might have just gone through with the match because it's WrestleMania. But I give Punk all the credit in the world here. It was a tremendous match. In the end, it was a big time counter sequence. Punk going for GTS, and Undertaker counters it. Then Punk goes for the Vice, I believe, or maybe the Vice was first, I'm not sure, but Undertaker gets out of that. Then Punk goes for a second GTS. Undertaker gets out of that into the second Tombstone of the Night as Punk kicked out of the first one for the 1, 2, 3, 21-0. Undertaker remains undefeated at WrestleMania. 5-star match, 10-star match, whatever ranking you want to use. And Undertaker crying at the end as he gives respect to the urn, and they play the 21-0 fireworks, crying over the memory of William Rudy Paul Bearer. Very, very tough moment to watch indeed. Next up, No Holds Barred with his career on the line. The Game, Triple H defeats the Man Beast Brock Lesnar, and what was a far better match than I expected it to be on paper. I'm not a big fan of street fights. I think they're anticlimactic. I think there's no point in them at all. I think it's something we've seen 100 times over, and a No Holds Barred match is a glorified way to term a street fight. But seeing as how this is Brock Lesnar, and they continually try to book Brock Lesnar as the UFC badass, I am not surprised at all that they went with that stipulation. And it was brutal physicality. It was, what in the world are these guys going to have to do to beat each other? Finish of the match comes as Triple H has Brock Lesnar in the Kimura lock for, I think, the third or fourth time in the match. And Brock Lesnar is screaming. Well, it was the third or fourth time overall for the Kimura lock between the two. But that's what it was. But at this point, Triple H has Brock Lesnar in the Kimura lock for the first of his, 3 times, I think it was. And he's screaming to Heyman, help me, Paul, help me. And Shawn Michaels gets his moment with the sweet chin music on Paul Heyman to stop him from interfering. Brock Lesnar shows amazing strength, gets out of the Kimura lock, dumps Triple H on top of the steel stairs, but then Triple H gets the Kimura lock back on. Brock Lesnar manages to get out of that, but then the match ends with a sledgehammer to the gut, trademark Triple H, and the pedigree from Triple H for the 1, 2, 3. So far better match than I expected it to be, but the crowd was virtually not into it at all. The crowd was just dead out for CM Punk and The Undertaker. I think I just said Triple H and Undertaker out of habit because that's what's been going on the last 2 years. But yeah, after Punk and Taker, the crowd was pretty much just dead. And I think that was bad booking on WWE's part. I think they should have put the No Holds Barred match before Punk Taker. But then they knew how they wanted to book things, and they wanted all 3 of the big 3 right back to back to back. Why? Well, I'll get into it. A WWE Championship on the line, Redemption versus Greatness, John Cena versus The Rock 2. And this was a far better match than last year, bar none. A lot of great counters, a lot of psychological moments with, it looks like John Cena is going for the same mistake he did last year with the people's elbow. And as he's going for the second part of the elbow, Rock nicks up. Rock thinks he's got him, and Cena's holding on to the ropes. He's like, no. You didn't get me this time, Rock. And Cena hits a rock bottom. Rock hits a rock bottom. Rock hits a 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena hits a 5-knuckle shuffle. Great match. Rock in much better shape than he was a year ago. But surprisingly, as this match ends with the AA for the 1, 2, 3 and John Cena becomes the new WWE Champion, the match itself ended at 10:45 p.m. Eastern. And what they did was they had John Cena talking to The Rock about respect and about how it's over and he just had to know. And then he gives the ring, John Cena does, to The Rock. And The Rock's music plays. The Rock does his thing. The Rock is pretty much saying goodbye to the crowd, it looks like. And then John Cena shows back up, and The Rock and John Cena raise each other's hands, and that's how WrestleMania goes off the air. So they literally made this, the comparison between John Cena and Hulk Hogan happens all the time. They literally made this another The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 17 moment. I mean, it was the exact same thing, scripted to a T. It was just the reverse, where The Rock gets put over, but Cena got put over this time. So I was a little bit disappointed by that ending, because we all wanted it. We all thought it was going to happen because of the way that they've been promoting Cena's promos going into the match. We all thought John Cena was going to have the major heel turn. It did not happen. But like we've all said, like was said during Talk Wrestling Online, like I said during Simon Michael HD's WrestleMania pre-show, John Cena is the #1 face and the #1 heel all at the same time. WWE doesn't, in their minds, need to make a character change with him. So I think that's why the decision was made. And even though it was The Rock and Hogan thing all over again, it really did look, like I said before, that The Rock was saying goodbye here. And even though he's supposed to be booked for Extreme Rules and possibly SummerSlam and WrestleMania next year, I'd be surprised if he comes back now. Unless they just really wanted to a T, recreate that moment to end the John Cena Rock feud once and for all. But, you know, it's going to be really interesting what The Rock's future is as a performer. And if that was The Rock's final match before he gets inducted in the Hall of Fame, I expect him to be the headliner if he's not going to wrestle at WrestleMania 30 next year. So, thank you, Rock, for your comeback. I do appreciate it for what it was, even if I didn't like every moment that you spent. I do appreciate you so much, and thank you for coming back. So, John Cena champion again, and most of us probably don't like it, but it's been almost 2.5 years since Cena was champion, so I think we're all just going to have to deal with it, and hopefully he can have some good feuds again, because it's as close to a fresh face in the WWE Championship picture as you can get with a John Cena. So overall, I give WrestleMania a 8 out of 10 for a card that didn't really have me psyched up, and a card that I think was lackluster for a WrestleMania card. Everybody raised their game up, and it was a WrestleMania, even though it wasn't on paper per se. As always, don't forget to check out the official sponsor of this program and channel, Handi Enterprises Inc., your sister technology experts. All company contact information is down below in the description box. And also, if you'd like to become a full YouTube partner, my full screen referral link is down below in the description box as well. Don't forget to check out the TWO, Talk Wrestling Online, post-game WrestleMania wrap-up show. Should be somewhere around 6 Eastern tonight, and it will be aired originally on WB TNA for Life on YouTube, and then I will replay it here with the video version upload as well. So stay tuned for that. This is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.